or to get some incense, because my Akashic records say every session you have to start with an incense. This way, the spirit of the smoke, which is a beautiful combination. One of the amazing Rebecca at one point pointed out to me, it's a beautiful combination of air, fire, and earth elements. And it said, like, you have to start every session with an incense. So if you like incense, I invite you to join me and to start this session with an incense. I am very excited. Today, I would love to do a beautiful Q&A, and for people in the Sacred Alignment Academy and for people on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, put your questions in the chat. And if you're here on the Zoom, then you can just raise your hand if you have a question to the records or a question to me. And the Zoom people have priority because they are my people, and we're growing quite fast in the Sacred Alignment Academy lately. So I'm very excited for that. I wanted to start today with the last session we did. Jo, she just came up with such a brilliant question. She came up with such a brilliant question, but we didn't have time anymore to answer it. And that question was how to feel safe to be seen. So I think that can be, especially when you want to, bring something new of yourself into the world in some way or form, that can be a really big hurdle. So I would love to ask Jo. I don't know, Jo, if you're already ready for this, but I would love to start the session with your question. So let me know. Are you here? Would you love to say something?
Hi.
Hello.
Before you start, you didn't record the Zoom.
Thank you.
And also, are you just spotlighted as well? So I'm not on.
Recording in progress.
My recording in progress is going. What did you say?
Usually you just spotlight you, so I'm not on.
You're amazing. Thank you. Look at this. You're already teaching me how to use Zoom. I love it. So
You spotlighted me. I thought you were spotlighting you.
No. You called it in. Tell me, can you give me a little bit more context on the question you had?
Yeah, safe to be seen is to do with, I want to start a new business, and also in groups I don't post because I don't know, I just have this anxiety about being seen in groups if I post.
Right. So
I'm very on the irony of this now going out on YouTube.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation. It's actually perfectly fitting, right? Even though nobody is watching at the moment, so you're good. You're protected. And only great people with amazing hearts will be attracted to this. So it's in a physical group, right? Or is it
A Facebook group.
It's a Facebook group. Okay.
So Facebook groups, well, I just don't put introductory posts or anything like that. So.
Right. So you just join, but you're more on the back. But there is something inside of you that actually wants to change that wants to be okay by just say hi and introduce yourself and show yourself.
Yeah, and I want to set up my own Facebook group where I'm going to be doing little reels or whatever, do you know what I mean, and posting things about myself, or just to encourage people in the area that I'm going to be, and the topics of what I'm covering in there. So yeah, I'm thinking I really should be just being confident to be seen.
Yes, that's a beautiful intention. So I'm gonna open your Akashic records. Do I have your permission to open your records?
Yeah.
So let me I will remove the spotlight for a little bit. You're safe. How funny is it? Sometimes it immediately, you know, when you're asking such a question, it can immediately just come come up. I would love to share a story that what happened today, because it's incredible how fast sometimes manifestation can work and how fast sometimes it can test you. So I had a good test today. But I would love to first focus on your question. So I'm going to connect to the records. Which prayer shall I use? Sacred alignment. Okay. With love and light. Dear records, are you fully open? Yes. Can you tell Joe how to feel safe, to be seen? Dear one, this will be quite a multi-layered answer. And in so doing, some things will resonate immediately and other things will click later when you start the process. Because to be seen and to feel safe in doing so is, even though the most natural state, there has been a lot of fears and anxieties in the collective. And that is for a reason. Because every human, since they're young and since they're interacting with groups, big and small, experienced intense, we can call it traumas, even though that's a loaded word and we don't mean it so loaded. But let's say intense emotional imprints that were not being able to be processed by the little human emotional body at the time. Because you and every human being are social creatures, very social creatures. Also, the emotions that come looking with that are more intense than a lot of other emotional reactions. So when you are, let's say, 4 years old and you're very shy and you need to do something in front of a group, but you don't want to, it can feel emotionally a lot. There can be a whole lot of things going on in the emotional body, way too much for a 4-year-old to process. So what does the subconscious do? As you know very well, it stores it very intelligently into the subconscious mind so that you don't have to process it right then, but it needs to come back alive. And what we see in your field is that you have been working on that incredibly well. So when it comes to that part, you have, in our estimation, around 93% of all the emotions that were stored from your youth, you have already correctly processed. There's only a couple small pieces we still invite you to look at, but that can be done in one single session because you're a powerful healer. But next to that, there is more to discover, because once you are in the habit of being a little bit looking at the group, participating in the group, but not on the forefront of the group. And actually you have enjoyed that for many, many years. First of all, we would love to say, there's nothing wrong with that. There is sometimes a interesting dynamic going on when more introverted people see how expressive extroverted people can be. And it feels like it's almost a must to be that same level of expression. But that's not true. And that is not part of your design. We like it way more that you are feeling comfortable in your design. What we mean with your design is you have chosen as a soul a certain level of inward focus and a certain level of outward focus, and you have chosen which of these gives you the most energy. So we are not wanting you to look at some of the other people that might post a lot and feeling that that is a must. It's not a must, but it is good to explore. And it's good to explore for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a great way to like yourself more and love yourself more. Because once you put yourself out there, you're also forced to look at yourself and to hear yourself speak. And even though at the beginning that's quite weird, but as you progress, you get better and better in communicating, and you get better and better and just laughing about cute mistakes that you might make. And there is a process of adoration that goes with this. At the beginning, it is very awkward, and every person that starts with this will feel in some way, as soon as they open a camera to share something on the social interwebs, there will be a weird, discomfortable feeling there. But the more you do it, and the more you show up, there will be a process of adoration of the self that comes with that. And second point, you will become better in communicating. And that is a brilliant skill to develop and will enrich every quality of your life. If you're able to bring points across in clear language, with great intention, with beautiful emotion, it is perfect. It will bring better conversation. It will bring more clarity in your life and in the life of others. But at the beginning, you might notice, oh wow, it took me quite a lot of sentences to make that point. But now I see this, I know I can make this point only in one sentence. Oh wow, I could have told that story. That story would be so good with this example that I just gave you. Maybe the next time I do a live, I put more stories into my speech. This goes gradually and naturally. So by showing up, the second point that we want to share is it's beautiful to become better in communication, and it will be a natural side effect of showing up. The third and most important is you have no clue what kind of impact you can have on somebody. Sometimes the live stream or the post that you might feel is the best has not much reaction. And the live stream where you feel, oh my God, this was horrible and you're even thinking to put it offline again, sometimes these ones will have the most resonance and the most love and the most belonging. The human mind is very bad in estimating what is a good post and what is a bad post. But by you just showing up and posting it anyway, which is something that we want to come to next, what you will do is you will create an impact in moments that you don't even have a clue that you could make an impact. And that is important because as a beautiful human from the light, you're here to impact each other. You're here to bring your expertise and your journey and to share it with others that are on the journey. Why? Because you're not here alone. It might sometimes feel like you're here alone, but there are millions and millions of humans searching, awakening, confused, and then finding clarity. And most of them find clarity because other humans took the time to post, to show themselves. So by being in a social platform of your choice and showing up, sharing your story, sharing what you learned, sharing your interests, sharing what you're going through, other people can have great resonance with that and they will be helped further along their journey because you are the courageous one that showed up and told that story. So that's a very powerful third aspect of doing this. But it is quite scary. And therefore we would love for you to take a big deep breath because we want you to shift your focus a little bit. Instead of feeling you're talking to a big group or to a possible big crowd, because you never know if nobody shows up or thousands of people see the video, we would love to invite you to only focus on one person when you make the video. Because you are comfortable when you are sharing in one person, and you are also very comfortable when you're sharing in small groups. You are able to show yourself very well. And you are embodying a safety to be seen there. That same safety you can have on even the biggest stages. But the mind will be overwhelmed if you believe that you need to talk to everyone and have a great reaction from everyone. That's simply an uncontrollable goal and not worth your mental capacity. Therefore, whenever you notice the energy of, oh my God, it is scary, who might see this, there might be a lot of people, this energy of shying away that happens when you do so, shift. Breathe and shift the focus to one person, and one person in particular. And that is the person that you were a couple years ago that really need to hear what you have learned now. Because you are all one, and even though your vibrations are very unique, many need to go through very similar life lessons. And the formulas for health, wealth, success, well-being, and energy are still moving the same, even though expressed in all unique vibrations. You're all learning to become better humans. And a lot of the principles are working across the board. So when you talk, allow yourself to focus on a state of your being where you really needed to hear what you want to say. And even if you just feel, I don't have any point today, I just want to show up and be cozy or be myself on camera. Even those moments, there will be a past you or someone you know that might just need that energy, that might just need somebody to hang out with. You don't always have to be intentional and punctual in your presentations and in your posts. You can sometimes just be human and real and open a space, just to open a space. That can be very powerful too. But focus on a you that really needed that in the past, because you can perfectly empathize with that you, because you were that you. And focus on how valuable what you know now can be to that younger self. So we would love to give you a little mind trick that can really help and immediately shift your the shying away energy that we talked about. And that is, you're only talking to one person. And you're only talking to one person that really needs to hear what you want to say right now. And imagine that person on the other side of the camera. Just don't even think anymore there is a camera. Forget it. But think about the person on the other side of the camera. That younger version of you that really wants to learn this or really needs this right now. And speak directly to this person. In this way, shyness disappears, fear disappears. You're just there to help. You're just there to help them bring forward and to help them make an even faster leap that you did, or walk an easier path that you did, or avoid some mistakes that you made. When you put yourself in that service, you can come over as yourself. You can be very much yourself. And at the same time, the whole possibility of safety disappears. You're just there to talk to one person. So allow yourself to make that transition. Or even before a video, meditate a little and make that shift inside of yourself. Focus on that being that you really want to help. Because you're a wise woman. You're a beautiful woman. There is a lot of you that can help a lot of younger selves. And therefore, we hope this message encourages you. We hope it invites you to start it, because you are supported. The journey of posting and of sharing is a great journey. And you will be of beautiful impact to all the people that need you and that have similar journeys as you. And here is one last thing that we want to say, which might also relieve your logical mind a little bit and the fear that it's having on this topic. Because it's the most common fear for humans is public speaking. And this is a form of public speaking, even though indirectly. But luckily, it's a way more safe form. And that is because of the following. The internet is oversaturated with content. The attention span of the average human being has become lower than some of the fishes in your ocean. Of course, the people that are meditating and the people that are on the spiritual path keep that average a lot higher than the people that are completely invested into social media. But still, attention is becoming a superpower. With all that media to choose from, people search for media that resonates with them. And they just click away what doesn't resonate with them. You can rest assured that that process will happen and that your videos will be watched by people that truly resonate with your message. And people that don't resonate will find other videos that resonate for them. You don't have to worry. Because just by you being there, you open a space of connection for people that are resonant with you. But at the same time, you will not see any people that are not liking your videos because they have other videos to watch. And this is great. You will notice also that in many of the YouTube comments over the last decade, you see that less and less humans are reacting in toxic ways. Less humans are irritated or are hate speeching. We're still very afraid of that. And there are, like we said, many wounds that are part of this. So it is a well-felt and well-experienced fear, but it is not needed anymore. Because if you are just there, being yourself, you will naturally attract the people that are resonant with yourself. And it might not happen immediately, but you will see in a progression of a couple of months to see which people truly love what you do. And as soon as you hit that point, the journey becomes a lot easier. Because once you have the resonant people that you can talk to, you know that you are valuable. You know you're a precious human that other people love to watch. And when that happens, instead of feeling fearful of stepping into that stage, you actually want to reconnect with your people. You want to show up again. You want to be there for them. And it becomes a beautiful act of service that pulls you in instead of pulls you away from it. So trust that humans have other things to watch. And so by you just being you, you are only attracting the resonant humans in your field. And it will be a great journey, dear one. We hope this helps. Thank you so much. Wow. How did that feel?
Yeah, that was really good, thank you. Yeah. And when you were saying about talking to your old self, when you do it on the phone, you can see yourself. So you are literally talking to yourself anyway.
Oh, that's beautiful. Makes it even easier. If you can make that mind shift, it makes it very easy. Wow, it was beautiful. Well, there are two things that I wanted to say based on what came up. One was about the witch wound, which I want to make a video for. I want to channel the Akashic Records, how we can heal the witch wound, because that's also still in our collective, and that is something to be seen, and something to be healed, and ideally, because it's not needed anymore. But you know, especially when you're in the spiritual field and you just you feel how healing your craft can be and the knowledge can be, but at the same time, there is still a remembrance of all the healing people being burned at the stake. That's that brings up a fear, like, oh my God, humans only a couple 100 years ago were still doing that, you know, like, is that truly healed? But we're actually in a very safe space nowadays compared to back then. And actually, the witches are needed. You know, the healers, the magicians are very much needed in this world. So I want to do, that's one thing that I wanted to say, is that I'm preparing it with the Akashic Records. So that will be hopefully soon. Or something else. It might come back. I don't have it right now. But thank you, Joe. This was an incredible answer, and it's an incredible question as well. I think it will help many people to, if they feel it, to step into it. So that was really awesome. Okay, let me close the records. Wow.
Great, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, me too. I love that. So, are there any questions? I see here. It's the beautiful Gwen in the chat. So, if there are questions in the Zoom, please raise your hand. My question is, what will the beginning of 2026 look like? That's a beautiful question, and I might, I would love to quickly check in with that, but I'm also doing a forecast on 2026 of December. 2026 of December, 26th of December, 2025. I'm doing a forecast where I open the Akashic Records of 2026 and we do a full-on channel, big transmission. I would love to invite you for it, but my website went down today, and it's been completed, but I had that's actually one thing that I wanted to share is in the energy update of December, there was a very powerful lesson for me. It's one of the most powerful energy updates that I personally channeled, at least for me, for my own impact. It hit hard. And it was about taking rest and about being restful in every moment. Even when there is chaos or when there is hectic things going on. And I have been working on my website for the last 2 weeks. I've been working on my website for the last 2 weeks, and I was about to launch it and to share it today. And somebody asked me for a link today, and I wanted to give the link to her. And then I saw my website was down, and then I saw all my websites were down, like the Akashic Record School, my personal one, my store, the funnels that I like, also the invitation for the 2026 meeting, the whole deal is down. It might be still down because it's solved, but they said it's going to take a couple hours. Yeah, it's still not there. So Gwen, I wish I could just send you the link, but I will send you the link later. I will also put it below this video, but I have your number, so I can send it to you too, and I will share it as soon as it's up again. I would love to share it with everybody. It was already working yesterday, but it stopped working. So that's I will let you know. I think in a couple hours it's back online. So in the meantime, we can already check in. So I would love to see if I can just receive something based on 2026 and how that might look like. Dear Akashic Records, how does it? Hmm. Okay, they say to me, I first need to finish my story that is half finished. And it's true. Okay. So, I was talking about the insight of the energy update with having rest in every moment. But when my website was completely down, I got like, what is going on? And then I saw it was because of a mistake of my domain provider, and I needed to go into customer service. I was a little bit triggered because it was not just one website. It was the whole, every domain I bought with them was down. My whole account was blocked. Like, what is going on? So I went in there and I needed to have a couple of conversations with the customer service. So eventually they apologized. They gave me a 25 euros refund, and they completely unblocked my account again, which I'm very grateful for. That all happened in a couple hours. So I'm happy that that's possible, and that it was still a customer service that I could call and get a human on the phone. You know, that becomes rarer and rarer. So I'm very grateful that all happened, but my website is not back up. But before I connected to the customer service, when I felt that tension, when I felt that anger, I was like, okay, this is a test. This is not only a test, but it's also a test for me to practice what the energy update has given me. So I started to, it's gonna be all right. Instead of like first like, oh, I want to fix this, I was like, no, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be solved. They're gonna help me amazingly. And I started to change my knowing into a really great situation. And I noticed slowly but surely it was more difficult than the latest days because I was practicing it the later days, but that were more simple things. There were more simple, less stressful things. This was truly a test. I was like, okay, no, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be fixed. It's gonna be in divine timing. People that need to find that website will find that website. You know, people that need to sign up for the event, they will, it will all happen. It will all be solved. So that calmed me down a little bit, and I went outside and started to just hang some laundry on the balcony and just breathing and relaxing before I called the customer service. And I believe it really helps, because otherwise I would just there be triggered and like, you know, yo, all my sites are down and I'm about to launch this and then I'm about to invite everyone for these 2 events and nobody can access the courses. And I was in that state at the beginning, but by changing it to the restful state, I was able to just be, let's see what they say. More like that. Let's see what they say. Let's see how they can help me. And it was also, yeah, it was just so much more peaceful experience. So now I think I completed the full picture of that. I would love to channel the Akashic Records of 2026 and see what they have to say. Dear Records, can you please invite us all into a little sneak peek to 2026? 2026 is going to be a year of power, of a strong level of alignment, and of 3 major world events that will be very beneficial for consciousness on the planet. But those will all happen later in the year. The beginning of the year, especially the first 2 months, will be beautiful months of aligning yourself with your own unique frequency. There has been so much information out there that we ask every human being to take a step back and move more inward. It's like, yes, I see that person doing that, and I see this person getting rich with that, and I see that person being very happy with that healing modality, and I see this person working hard, and I see this person not working hard, but they're both earning the same amount, and there's all these things going on. But the best invitation that we can give you for the beginning of 2026 is to move inside of your being and truly ask yourself, how do I want to live? Because if that clarity is achieved before the power of 2026 truly comes online, you will amplify that. It will be as if you set the sail correctly of the sailboat before the wind of 2026 can take you along. And if you are not doing that work, that wind will still come, but the boat might not be ready, and it might become a very rocky road, especially in the months from March up to June, July. So the beginning is peace, almost like an oasis compared to the intensity of 2025. The beginning will be moments of rest and peace, stillness. And we invite you to use that stillness in a way to listen to you, to see if you can spot the shiny object syndrome that has been guiding your life. Because even though if you might not know it, media and all of the creators on there, on all levels, have asked for your precious attention. It is addictive. It is fun. It is entertaining. It is full of learning and joy and realization, and we understand that. But shiny object syndrome, when you go from the next aha thing to the next aha thing, is not you in your power. You in your power is see if you can take rest from all sources of media for a couple days in the first weeks of 2026 and ask yourself, what is me? How do I want to flow this year? How much time do I want to spend in this and in that area of my life? How much connection am I seeking? How much me time am I seeking? How much work am I willing to put forward? Are there certain things in my field that I truly want to create and have been postponing for the last years? By going into this wellness moment early in the year, and by clarifying, your energy field becomes like this well-built sailing ship with a beautifully strong set sail. so that whenever the wind starts blowing, you're ready, and there is a huge amount of momentum, energy, and growth that can come from that. That's the strongest impulse we feel now that are in the field. And of course, like this channel just mentioned, we will do a big energy update of the whole year of 2026 in the near future. And we love to invite you for it. We would love to ask you now, based on this answer, what are you inspired to do? Thank you, dear one. Wow, that's exciting. I love it. Dear Anastasia, I saw you raise your hand and then left again. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Actually, yesterday during my meditation, I gave the intention to find out what my talents, my gifts are, and they just gave me an answer that I can, I can spot, I can identify programs running easily, accurately, and something that I haven't understand very well that what does this mean and how I could develop this for my highest good and the highest good of all. And I would like to have a guidance to be a guest records about this, if this is possible.
Of course. Would you love to, like, what do you mean with identifying programs? Like,
Yes.
uh, in which way? Inside of somebody,
I
or?
understood that I can spot when in myself or in others, it's something like a program. I mean, like something that is there inputted without actually being 100% live. Like is a program running there. It is something I don't really understand this, but that's what I got.
Okay.
That's why I'm asking.
Okay, that's very interesting. All right. So yes. I can open your records and I can see what it means. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Would love that, yes.
So if you know, okay, that's very interesting. So where did the guidance come from? From your records or from?
No, I was just meditating.
Oh,
I don't know
beautiful.
from where the guidance came from.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, yeah, let's just dive in. Do I have your permission to open your records?
Yes, of course.
Beautiful. Dear records, can you give some guidance based on the wisdom that Anastasia received regarding identifying programs? Yes, dear one, we are grateful for your question. And indeed, it has been information that was seeded from your guides to show you your genius, because you have been asking about it. What am I here for? What is my genius? And when you start asking, you start receiving answers. So, this is one of your many gifts that you're here to give. And ideally, we would love to make this a little interactive, if you're open for it, and ask you some questions, because we can give you a lot of information right now, but ideally, we would go together with you until you see it in yourself. Would you be open to that?
Yes.
Okay. I need to quickly drink water. Can you please continue? Now, here is something. When you meet somebody and you just have a peaceful gaze onto their being, let's say you see somebody walking on the street and you have a conversation. And when you're observing them, what do you spot? And in particular, to just give you a little bit more context, do you spot sometimes a little bit of anxiety, stress, haste, or insecurities, just by looking at them without you doing much?
Yes, I do.
All of these little things, even though seem very normal to you, this is not something that everyone sees so clearly as you. And the more you will interact with such a person, the more you will notice a clearer picture of the internal programming of their mind. Because a mind can be programmed in many different ways. For example, a mind can be programmed towards a victim mentality or a winner's mentality. Same mind, but a very different program that produces a different output. And what you have is a mind that is able to see that as soon as you start to connect with people. So we would love to ask you, can you bring into the forefront of your mind, a conversation you had recently that lasted at least 20 minutes to half an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that clearly in your mind?
Yes.
Remember what you noticed. What were you doing in that? Not only what were you doing in the conversation, when you were talking, what were you noticing in the vibration or in the energy field of the other?
Anxiety, insecurity,
Right.
need for love.
And did these things become more prevalent as the conversation went along?
Yes.
Did you start receiving during the conversation where the person was anxious for?
Mm-hmm.
And were you also able to somehow comfort her or him in that interaction?
Yes, I tried to. I believe I achieved it.
We believe you did too. Now, what you just described, if you start by communicating with somebody, you start feeling the anxiety and also towards which the person is anxiety to, that anxiety is generated by a mental program. And you very naturally identified that. You very naturally identified it and was able to comfort this person. Do you see that?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Do you see that anxiety is a program, and if that person would have a couple of different mental shifts, that person would not have anxiety anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Would you also be able to notice which shifts that those are?
I believe yes.
And what do you feel about that? That you have this ability to do so?
I'm not sure, but I always have this ability.
That is correct. And you might assume that everyone has that ability, but not everyone has that ability into the degree that you are able to do so. So just by conversing and connecting, you are able to see somebody's programming, but also to see where in the program certain little twists or shifts can be made so that that person stops producing the output, in this case anxiety, from their lives. This is very powerful healing. And we just want to reflect to you that this is not just a skill to take for granted. This is something you can use to help people. This is part of your superpower, part of your genius. And your guides have been giving this and reflecting this to you, and they will give more to you based on it. So, if we may invite you to, we would love to allow yourself to feel gratitude and appreciation for this natural ability of yours. How does that feel?
Very, I don't know, it's like I want to cry from happiness that I have such a talent, such a gift, and I really love it, yes.
Of course, you're allowed to express that, but we would love to say something else. There is an abundance of humans with faulty programming. There is an abundance of humans that really need help with their mental programming. Actually, more than 95% of humans really need help. So if you see a crowd of 100 people, 95% of people will be better off by having a conversation with you. That's how beautiful and powerful this skill is. So, to put this into practice, we would love to give you a couple of things so that you can immediately start noticing more which gold you have in your hands. And that is the following. Whenever you are conversing with a person, allow yourself to listen as well to the programming. See if you can identify it. But you don't have to go immediately into your healing role or your fixer role. Just listen like you do very well right now. Nothing to change what you're already doing very well. But then when the moment feels right, you might say to the other person, hey, I have listened to you, and I see with a couple of mental shifts, you might be able to live a way easier life. Or you might be relieved from the anxiety you're feeling. Or you might be relieved from the stress you are experiencing. Would you be interested in me sharing these shifts to you? What happens is that you listened gracefully and you ask for permission gracefully, because not every person wants to be healed. And it's good to respect that. Not every person is as fanatic and as enthusiastic about the spiritual realm and the mental realm and how to optimize that. And that's okay. We all have different qualities. But by that question, you will know if people are actually wanting to have their pain relieved. Because also there will be people that actually would love to stay in the pain a little longer, which is marvelous to us, but it is true. Some people use it as their safety zone or comfort zone. So they might feel threatened when somebody all of a sudden comes with a lot of mental shifts. But by asking it so nicely and directly, you know if a person is ready, and when a person is ready, you can share what you have been witnessing with them. And that will show you not only your abilities more clearly, but you will also notice the effect on others more powerfully. And then you can always ask, how was that? How are you feeling? And therefore, you will be able to help many people just by having great conversations. Nothing more than that. Isn't that exciting?
Yes, please.
Wow. Thank you, dear. That was a beautiful question.
Thank you, thank you.
That was
And
awesome.
it was a great answer. Yes, thank you.
You look very happy. That's beautiful. Sometimes I'm constantly with my eyes closed, so I didn't see, but it is very beautiful. Wow, thank you. I will close the records, and I want to thank you for your question. That was beautiful. Oof. Wow. I want to quickly put a shout out to, I'm wearing a bolo cap. Do you see bolo? It says bolo. It's a coffee place around the corner. And what it does is it creates delicious coffee, of course, but when just after we moved here, they weren't open yet, but we saw them opening and figuring out their coffee store, and they were, you know, hanging their marketing and things like that. And we just walked up to her and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And yeah, they said, we're opening a business here. We want to sell bread and coffee. And we were like, okay. And we started to actually cheerleading them from the very beginning, inviting people to it. Whenever we met with a friend for coffee, we said, oh, let's meet at the Bolo. And we started to, you know, bring clients in, and we started to, every time we had a business idea, we came there and we said, oh my God, you can do this, or you can do this, or you might do this as a marketing, you know, like there's a lot of, in the summer, for example, everyone needs an umbrella for the sun. Like, oh, what if you make a Bolo umbrella, like a Bolo umbrella? We were always thinking like that. And today they became 2 years old. So that has all been, that opening is 2 years ago. Today they became 2 years old. They're not at all into spirituality or what I'm doing. So I don't think they will ever see this channel. But anyway, I told them, like, I'm gonna wear the merchandise for you and celebrate you in my channel. So shout out to them. Their business is going very well. They went from working every day from the very morning until 6, 7. They now only they start closing on the Tuesdays fully, and sometimes also on days where they don't want to be open, and they only work until 2. So after 2 o'clock, they are just free and they're enjoying life. And yeah, it's a very beautiful thing to see a business grow like that, especially because it's a physical business. And I just wanted to celebrate them. And if you're ever in Malaga, go to the Bolo and say hi from me. You might get a discount. They even have a drink named after me called the 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐿𝐵𝐶ino. So it's an interesting drink. It's actually a bulletproof coffee, but they didn't know bulletproof coffee, so we just started calling it 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐿𝐵𝐶ino. It's a coffee with it's a flat white coffee with avena milk. Avena is oat milk. I'm talking half Spanish. Oat milk, and we put butter in there and coconut oil. And some people are like, oh, interesting. And some people are like, what? Coconut oil? Like, what are you doing? But it contains all the healthy fats. If you have real, ideally grass-fed cow butter and coconut oil, if you put a little bit of that in your coffee, you start to have all the natural healthy fats in coffee. And it does 2 things. And it postpones your breakfast hunger. So you can go a little bit longer without eating breakfast, which might help in intermittent fasting if you want to. But also, it allows the caffeine to absorb slower. So you're not spiking that much. You're growing, like the caffeine comes in very naturally, stays longer, and goes. And that's actually the way I went from 7 cups of coffee a day when I was still working in the office to only 1 cup of coffee a day, which was this 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐿𝐵𝐶ino, which was this bulletproof coffee, eventually to stopping coffee and now only drinking coffee maybe once every 2 weeks, whenever I really need it. Whenever I have a really groggy morning, I still go there. Yeah, try it out. Try out the 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐿𝐵𝐶ino, which is, the real name is bulletproof coffee. I don't want to rebrand it. But yeah, here at the Bolo, we rebranded it. So whenever you're in Malaga and you want to have a good coffee full of healthy fats, ask for a 𝐒𝐚𝐽𝐿𝐵𝐶ino at the Bolo. Yeah, I just wanted to shout out to them. And I think it's really nice, you know, like maybe you have around you starting business, or, you know, you see a restaurant opening up, or you see a barber opening shop, or whatever you see in your area. I think it's really awesome to empower them and celebrate them and bring clients to them, because I only I kind of got really the respect for it when I opened my own business. So before that, I was not noticing that much these things, but now I open my own business. It's a courageous step, and it's a beautiful step. So to allow yourself to walk in. We walked into another store last week. It was a concept store. They sold very overpriced stuff, but still we went there and we just said like, oh, you're selling very interesting stuff. Like, congratulations. When did you open? Oh, we opened like that. I was together with my wife and we started this, and we just started this very beautiful conversation. And eventually you start to know all the owners of all the restaurants and all the shops in the city, which can open a lot of doors. And you're in this state of empowering and in the state of amplifying business, which will also come back to you. So you're basically automatically putting you in the frequency of abundance in a way, and in the frequency of growth. So yeah, if you're not doing so already, you might be doing so already. But if you're not doing so already, might be a delicious addition to your life. Oof. I would love to thank you all for being. I don't see any questions anymore. I don't see any questions in the chat. I don't see any questions in the group, and I feel actually also it's a good moment. I just wanted to close. But would you love to at least ask your question, Alice? And if it's a short question, let's go. And if it's a long question,
It's a very short question.
Okay. Tell me.
I want to know that if I'm not staying in Bulgaria, which European city I should have been to?
Oh, okay.
Because right now, it's I don't know if you notice, Bulgaria is going to enter Euro session after December, and
Okay.
there's a huge protest
Okay.
in this all over the country, and because the tax is really high. And the cost of living here is actually not cheap. You
Right.
consider that they don't earn enough money.
Right.
So, so the energy is hitting me hard because I'm too
Yeah.
sensitive in my body.
I understand.
So, so I can use energy healing to heal myself, but it's take for a while. So
Yeah.
I want to know that if I want to still be in EU and still have my business, because I still didn't get the business yet
Okay.
in Bulgaria. So which country is better for me to be in Europe? Because I know that I still need to be in Europe because I have a task to do. I
Okay.
just want to know which other option could be.
Okay. Beautiful. Yeah.
Do you know my Chinese name? I can type
Can
again.
you type it for me?
Yes.
Beautiful. And yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Do I have your permission to open your records? Oh, yeah, I lost you for a little bit there. I don't see you anymore. Do I have your permission to open your records? Okay, beautiful. Dear records, what are the best countries or cities for Alice to go to? There we have a couple of options for you. But first of all, we want to acknowledge the intensity that you're feeling. Know that you are protected. Know that you have the methods to be safe in your energy. And even though the collective is strong and intense right now, and of course it has an effect, we would love to ask you to also invite, not to bypass, but to include in your field also the frequency of the ideal living state. Allow yourself to feel the ideal living state, the energy field of it as well, the peace that is good for you, the activity that is good for you, the mindset that is good for you in your surroundings. Allow yourself to infuse it in your energy field while also feeling and not neglecting the old and the current streams of energy. We have a couple of interesting things we want to tell you, but we cannot tell you the answer. Why can we not tell you the answer? Because you need some exploration to find it out. But we can give you a couple of possibilities and the next step into your exploration. When it comes to the business part, and you know this already, and we know you have looked into this already a little bit, but of course, Europe and the business side of Europe, Estonia is the most well-known to start a European business. It's very automized, it's very well created, but there is still a tax situation and quite an upfront investment. Not that you are losing that money, but that money needs to be in an Estonian bank account and cannot be used for a while. But when it comes to living, which is more important, there are a couple of things to consider. Estonia is a good option, but it's cold. There's also neighboring countries like Albania and Croatia that we see you fare well in. Especially Croatia has one of the most beautiful natures and natural parks in Europe. Then there is Slovenia, which is peaceful, but the energy of the country is purified. It's one of the most pure places on earth to live, and for the energy work that you do can be very important and powerful. There is also opportunities and energy for you in Italy, in France, and in Belgium. Why are we giving you all of these options and not saying a clear one? That's because your exploration is important to us. And we want you to give you a clear next step. We want you to do some research with AI. We want you to put in your favorite large language model a question that somewhat goes like this. Dear chatbot, can you please do some research for me? I want to open a company in Europe. I want to live here as well. These are my ideal living costs. This is my ideal living situation. This is what I find important where I live. I'm very sensitive, so please include an analysis of the energy field by watching at the news and watching at the oxygen levels of the country. And can you give me a complete overview per country where you show me the average living costs, the ease of setting up a business, the air quality, the best places to live, possible spiritual communities in those countries? And can you put all of that information in one big table? And if you want, it might even generate a funny infographic with that information, if you so choose. We know you already did some research, but to have such a beautiful, all-encompassing prompt that puts it all into one picture or one table can be really beneficial for you. And then the next step will be to let your intuition and your spiritual connection guide you in the exploration of the different options it gives you. So you read, but some of these things spark something in you. And as soon as such a spark happens, dive in, do a little bit more research, ask another question, look up some pictures, go in Google Maps and see if you can get a feel of the situation. See if you know somebody that lives there or can talk with somebody that lives there to ask some insider questions. That exploration will give you so much that we cannot give you the answer. It will rob you from the value that the exploration can give you. But this is a beautiful next step, and you are indeed ready for a change of location, because only when you feel fully settled, setting up the business will become a very natural flowing activity for you. But with all this turmoil in the energy field, it is hard, and it is good that you have postponed this process for now, because now you see why. We hope this helps. Enjoy the exploration and the journey, dear one.
Thank you so much.
Was it helpful? Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I tried to ask my spiritual team, they're not giving me all the answers you can get. That's why I'm thinking that I ask someone who lives in Europe. It's better to give me the answer.
I ask my fellow European.
Because I never thought that it would say Claudia or Estonia.
Yeah.
And they're talking about one of the location which is really pure energy. which is
Slovenia.
called-
Slovenia.
Slovenia, yeah. I can't speak English with my problem.
I
Because
think
that's the problem. And also, basically, all the countries they gave to me, France, Italy, none of them speak English.
that's not true. That's not true. I know most of the smaller countries, like France, not. Yeah, okay. France, when you go above 40, 50, it becomes hard. But the younger generation all speaks perfect English. Slovenia speaks perfect English. Most of the smaller countries actually speak perfect English. You see that in the Netherlands, you see that in Portugal, Croatia, Slovenia. And you know why? Because the countries were too small to overdub the Hollywood movies. So big countries have overdubbed, so translated all of the Hollywood movies in their own language, but small
Yeah.
countries didn't do that. So the smaller countries in Europe are way better in English than the big countries. Because the big countries, they might never heard English until they're 20. But the small countries, they learn English because the movies stay English, the games stay English, the TV series stay English. So yeah, you will be good when it comes to connecting, I'm sure.
I really hope so, because when you say, oh, when you say that they think I finally get the hint that I'm not supposed to be here anymore, I'm super happy. My heart is, oh, I needed to be here.
Fine.
I do not like to be here.
There you go. You already knew it, but yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
May your journey and your travel go very smoothly and easily. I'm gonna close the records, but that was a beautiful ending. I love that.
Oh, it is. Thank you so much.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you for your questions. I would love to close the session, but if you know, I know for all of you in Zoom, you're already in the community. We have been growing so beautifully. I absolutely love spending time with you. But if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're all the way here to the end, if you like the energy, if you like Akashic Records, know that when you go into the community, you almost learn in the first 5 days, you already learn how to connect with the records, with the guides. And we have many sessions where we explore topics like this. And there's so many epiphanies so far. It's incredible. So if you watch this and you really like the energy, come join us. It's incredible. You will learn so much. You will be so empowered. You will feel so good by growing together. So it's the Sacred Alignment Academy. The link will be in the video description. And yeah, I would love to see you on the inside. For everyone here, thank you for being here. Also, when my website is up, I will invite you for 2 amazing free events. One will be the solstice and one will be the 2026 ceremony. They will not be sending out on YouTube. They will be on Zoom, but everyone is able to join them. So invite all your spiritual folks that want to learn about 2026. We're going to dive deep in those sessions. So thank you, everyone. Much love. Oh, I see another question in the chat.